Like, wow, everybody, we back. We with Miss Adams. She is truly amazing. I know you saw her when we were talking last time on Constructive Talks. And we were talking in the park. We were talking about the homeless, the hungry, and the elderly. So she's back, and one of the things that she wants to do is kind of talk about, kind of revisit some things in her life that were inspirational. She want to make sure that she's speaking directly to future generations of her family that are created that she'll never see. But she also want to inspire the current folks around her now that share in her space, or those who look at her as, hey, she works hard. She's predictable. She has her space that she exists in without causing any confusion to herself, right? So it's not any self-induced things that would stress her or make her feel that her space isn't comfortable or conducive for her growth and the growth of her grandchildren and the people, her sons and the folks around her, her relatives, her friends, her family. So how are you doing today?
I'm actually doing great.
Are you?
And I didn't know what I want to talk about until your introduction. And with your introduction, that gave me an idea. A very personal idea that I want to share, not only with my grandchildren, but with everybody and anybody that's listening. The most important thing, and it comes with growth, is protecting your peace. If you don't protect your peace, whether it's from family, friends, or foe, you're lost because you're constantly getting pulled into drama. Sometimes people are in a contest, and if you don't put yourself in that contest, then although they think they're winning, you winning because you're not participating. And that's important. You have to protect your peace. Your peace is, whether it's at work, other employees or employers, it's so important to protect your peace. You can't get pulled into someone else's drama. It reduces your self-worth by being constantly pulled into someone else's drama. It took me a long time to grasp that concept, but I would say about 4 years ago, I decided that the most important thing to me is protecting my peace, because it's not a contest. It's protecting your self-worth, your value. And when you let people pull you into their drama, it's affecting everything about you. It's affecting your blood pressure. It's affecting your daily living. You can't let someone else's drama draw you into their drama, or even their conflicts, or I don't know how to explain it. It's more like I was so involved in other people's issues and other people's lives, trying to get them to change. You can't change someone unless they want to be changed. So with saying that, I decided that I'm not going to keep apologizing for who I am, because I know who I am, and I know my self-worth. I know my value. So I'm not in a competition because I already won. I One, because I said I'm not involved. It's not my problem. And if you need me, if you need my advice, I can give it to you. But I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to play peacemaker because it's not my job. My job is making sure that me and my family are okay. And when I say my family, I mean my kids, my grandkids, my sisters. Even though I'm not getting involved, I want to still make sure they're okay. And it's a difference. Because when you engage in somebody else's drama, it's disturbing your peace. And I'm not letting nothing or no one disturb my peace. I'm going to give you a good example. I have friends. I have family. And of course, you're going to squabble with friends and family. But if you truly love me, then even though we had a squabble, it's fine. If I call you and you ignore me, and I text you and you ignore me, then that's the end of it for me. I'm not going to continue to reach out with you and beg you to see me, because I see you, I'm trying to engage, but if you don't engage back, I'm not going to beg you to be a part of my life, because again, like I said, that's disturbing my peace, because I'm worried about why you're not answering my calls, why you're not answering my texts. I tried. I did my best. If you don't contact me, I'm not going to contact you. It works both ways. We love each other. I love you. But I'm not going to beg you to be a part of my life. And that's where it's like we both have to engage. And if you truly love me, then I shouldn't have to beg you to be a part of my life. We love each other. And that's something that I want my grandkids to know, that you don't have to beg someone to be a part of your life. If they love you, they're a part of your life. Whether they're mad at you or they're butthurt or jealous, it don't matter. Love is love. And if you love me, you're going to be a part of my life. I don't have to call you every day. I don't have to I don't have to text you every day, because everyone has their own life. Just because I'm not engaging with you every day or every week, or that don't mean you're not on my mind. It just means that I'm working. I'm busy. I have a life. I have grandkids. You should understand that if I text you and say, I love you, you're on my mind, then that means I love you, you're on my mind. That don't mean I don't have time for you. It just means that I have life. I have my own life, and I don't have to call you every day. I don't have to text you every day. And I'm not acting funny. I don't think you better. I don't think I'm better than you. I think that I respect your life, and you should respect my life. And when we can get together, we gonna get together and we gonna have a ball. But we not gonna do that every weekend. I can't do it every weekend because I have a life, and I have a family, and I have a job. And that just should be a mutual understanding between us, because we love each other. And you're always on my mind. It's just that I don't have time to babysit you. And that should be okay. Because like I said, we love each other.
So on that note, so you said a few years ago you kind of came to the conclusion that to kind of focus on yourself a little more.
Yes.
Yeah, focus on yourself a little more and kind of reorganize or distribute your energy.
Correct.
So now, since you've been distributing your energy,
Yes.
what are some things that you've discovered about yourself that helps you have that peace you talk about?
And that's a good question. That's an excellent question because for a long time in my life, I felt like I was a victim. In doing this self-discovery, I found my peace, and I also found that I wasn't a victim. I was a survivor, and that's the difference. It's a huge difference between being a victim and a survivor. I'm not blaming anyone for anything. I survived it, and that makes me stronger. And that's something I want to pass on to future generations. You don't have to be a victim. Of course, you might have been victimized, but you survived. And that's the key to moving forward and letting the past go. I survived.
So what are some things in your looking at the other side of, pain or victimhood or being victimized, that you realize that the strengths that you had when you became your best resource, right?
Yeah.
When you say, man, oh wow, I'm discovering something about myself I never thought of or I would be able to do alone. What is, if you can name one thing that you discovered that you could do alone and be good, happy, and accomplish things. I see you smiling, so that's a good thing, right? That's good stuff.
I'm gonna tell you a story.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you an honest to God story. I've been in relationships, true, and with self-discovery, I learned that I didn't really love myself. And until I learned to love me, I didn't even know, other than my grandkids, don't get me wrong, and my kids, because that's my life. So, but what I discovered with self-discovery is throughout my relationships, I said, I've never been in love. I mean, like, yeah, I might have liked somebody, but you see people in relationships and how what they consider love is almost tragic to me. It's like I've never loved someone unconditionally to the point where it was unforgiving. I never walked away from a relationship where I was crushed or heartbroken or cried. I mean, it was like, well, excuse my language, but damn. I wasn't in love, not really. I mean, I thought it was love, but is accepting less than what you feel like you worth is that really love? How can that really be love? I mean, I just feel like my self-worth is more than what someone else's definition of love is. So I don't feel like I ever been in love.
So let me ask you this question: where did you get your examples of love, of what love is, from?
Well, that's another good question because I analyzed it. I really did, and it's like looking at other relationships that's been around me. I don't think abuse is love. It's not. I think it's more controlling than love. I don't think control. You know, you gotta have some give and take in love and trust. And I think that might have been my issue because I've never trusted anyone not to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's always been that barrier where you're sometimes waiting for the other shoe to drop. Basically, you know, it's like, you know, if you're always waiting on somebody to hurt you, can you genuinely really love them? You know what I'm saying?
So you know the next question I'm gonna ask already.
Okay, go ahead.
Right? You already know.
Yeah.
So what made you not trust, and I'm not gonna say trust love, but trust you in the hands of somebody else to care for? I know it's the kind of long way to say it, but you know, it's for somebody to take care of you without you having to do the work for them to take care of you, right? They should do the work to take care of you. You should have nothing to do with it, right? No labor, because they care for you. And sometimes that caring and trusting hands, you can trust someone to love you. So what do you think caused you not to trust someone to love you like you would love? Does that am I making sense a little bit?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I would say it's
okay. Look, I'm gonna interrupt you.
Yeah.
How do you love? Let everybody know. How do you let your grandchildren know what's your example of love from you and what you send out to the world?
That's a real damn good question. Me, seeing as how I figured out I've never really experienced love other than familial love.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing to me to build up a relationship where I think I could probably love is trust. I mean, if you can't trust someone, and I know I'm not the only one that's been in this situation, but every time someone's sitting on their phone,
Mm-hmm.
texting, smiling, you know, it's not always about cheating or, you know, but you always hone into that. You know, you hone into like, who you texting, grinning with, you know what I'm saying?
And sometimes that's because that's what's inundated through media.
Yeah.
That's what the rumor. That's why people show people fighting or snatching stuff, or and so sometimes it's implanted in our subconscious. Like these are the actions that mean that.
Or it could be something that you
experience,
grew up with. You know.
Oh, yes, you're 100% correct.
You know, you see it growing up. You know, in relationships, whether it's your parents, your uncles, your aunts, older cousins, or, you know, you see it and you know it's happening, and sometimes you might even help cover it up, but it still is ingrained, you know, in you that.
So it could be possibly a figment of your imagination that manifests itself from your subconscious. Everybody, I'm sorry, I know I'm doing this thing, but I want people to be able to think about. Sometimes we create a scary movie in our own mind.
That's right.
And it's not a scary movie.
That's right.
And everything we see will convince us that's what's actually happening. And like you said a second ago, just because you're smiling, and I'm not taking over this interview, everybody, trust me. But when we are smiling and texting or doing something, that doesn't mean we're doing something bad.
That's right. So
when we see somebody doing it, that doesn't mean they're doing it bad, but our subconscious of create that scary movie, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And you can ruin a good relationship by just being paranoid, not trusting, but then also you have to be open and honest with your partner about your insecurities. And that's something that I never really did. I never was open and honest about my insecurities. And so, and then also I would say that I had not learned to love myself based on insecurities that I had.
Okay.
You know? So
hold on, that's a big one now. So we'll go back to the So that 3 years you just started to put in 3 years or so ago when you started putting that energy towards yourself. What are some things that you did to truly love yourself? What was it kind of odd because you never experienced yourself before? You're like, hey, I'm actually kind of weird, or was it something like, man, I really don't know what I like or love or want, and I have to discover myself?
Yeah,
okay.
I had to discover who I was, not who I wanted people to see me as. You know what I'm saying? I was always pleasant, but I wasn't pleasant. It just depends on who it was or who I was around.
So you pick and chose.
Yeah, I pick and chose.
So why did you pick and choose though? What made those people have you not be yourself, but to make sure they approved of what you were when you were in their space? It's a good one, right?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Because that's like the makeup thing. We put on certain makeup for certain situations, and we don't even realize how many layers we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Self-sabotage.
Oh wow.
And that goes back to insecurities. You know what I'm saying? It's like you didn't think you were worthy. Not because you thought lowly of yourself. It might have been because of something you went through. You wasn't good enough. And I think during my time of reflecting and finding my peace, I figured out it wasn't me. It was never me. It was the people or person that made me feel like I wasn't worthy. I don't know how to explain it.
No, that's
without
simplistic.
Appointing blame.
No blame.
Because I'm not blaming anyone. Like I said, I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor.
So let me ask you this: what makes you feel worthy of yourself? What things? It could be simple as taking a walk, taking a nap. Hell, it could be what things make you worthy of to appreciate you.
I figured out that I am more than, if you want to say, society or this perception that society want to put out of what we should be or what we shouldn't be. I just had to learn to love myself. I love myself. And with loving myself, I learned my self-worth. I am worth more than being that's for sure. I'm worth. I work so hard to make sure that I don't want for nothing. I don't need for nothing. I don't have to ask nobody for nothing. And that's okay. And everybody not in that situation, because you can work really hard and still have to ask for help. I mean, I'm not immune to it, and I'm not saying I'm beyond it or above it. I just know that if I keep moving forward and keep loving myself and protecting my peace, that I'm going to be okay. And me and mine are going to be okay.
So let me ask you this. So as your family, your grandchildren, your sons may encounter one day one day they need to rediscover, or not even rediscover, because some of us never even ever known ourselves. Mm-hmm. And they go through some things and they say, man, I need to sit back and discover myself, because these layers that I have to, like you said, to appease certain people, I need to take it off. So what advice or what good, supporting words would you give them to how to discover themselves? What are this? I'm not going to say process or steps. What are some of the first things you had to do to start to get that energy or time back to discover yourself? What would you say to them?
I'm not going to say I isolated myself. I would say that you just have to find the strength to disassociate. And when I say disassociate, I mean all those worldly things that you think so important are not important. They're really not important. At the end of the day, if anything go down, you have to be self-sufficient. If you can't be self-sufficient and learn to not depend on what society or the government say you should have or say where you should be, then you lost. You really lost. Turn off your phone. That's the first thing. Disengage from social media, because social media will tell you this is where you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to have. And that's not necessarily true. Everybody is not supposed to ride around in a Mercedes or a Bugatti or, that's all fake hype. As long as you happy within your bubble, then that's what will help you learn to be yourself and who you are. You have to put a bubble around yourself and discover yourself. You can't look at social media or look at these housewife shows and discover that that's what life is, because it's all fake. It's fake news. Pun intended. Because it's really fake. Social media, I mean, I'm not saying all of it is fake. Some people out there giving some good advice, but you have to weed through all the junk. And that's just like out here in real life, you see people out on the street or at the store, and just because they got diamonds and jewelry and riding around the Mercedes, that don't mean they ain't going home. It just means that they putting on a show for the world to say, I got it, I made it. But in actuality, they might be going home getting beat up or abused, or that's just the facade that they show the world, that everything is great. No, everything not great. Not every day. It's just not. So you got to pick yourself up and decide what you want for yourself. Disengage. And then once you figure out what you want for yourself or what you need for yourself, then hey, go back to social media, but go back with a clear mind that it's all fake. It's not real. These influencers, that crap not real. Do you think these people putting all that crap on their face for real? No, they're not. But they selling it and they making money. And if I could get on there and make money, I would too. But that don't mean it's real. It just means it is what it is.
Okay. And you are the nucleus of your universe.
That's right.
So, like you said, your bubble, you can't care about anything out your bubble first before yourself.
That's right.
right? You have to create that good within your space and let everybody, friends, family, and loved ones experience you as you are without putting any layers of makeup on. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly.
Okay. So now you discovered, what do you love most about yourself?
Other than the love I have for my family.
Okay, family's not in this.
Yeah,
It's just you.
I love that I have a creative mind.
Okay.
I have so many thoughts running through my mind all day. Different things I want to do. Different thoughts on maybe I want to write a book.
Yeah.
I love to read, and I'm comfortable with that. I don't have to go out to the club or be out drinking or anything. And I've had someone say, well, when you gonna get a boyfriend? When I meet somebody that's worthy of me. I have not met that person yet, so I am happy with who I am and what I'm doing. I don't need to be what society say we should be. I'm good.
Okay, you love the creativity that you have within you naturally.
Yes.
Natural
creativity. I mean, I can't say it enough. I mean, I can just be like sitting in the car, and I done made up a whole story in my head. I just got to figure out how to put it to paper. You know what I mean?
But one cool thing you can do is just get you a microphone, a recorder, and when you're thinking, just talk it out.
Yeah.
Just talk it, then you got it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back, because as you get older, we kind of forget what we were doing, right? Okay.
On a regular basis.
So, your grandchildren, the sparkle of your eye,
yeah,
right? They're going to be influenced by technology. They're going to get a cell phone early if they don't have it. They're going to get tablets. They're going to get inundated with social media.
Already is.
Now, when they get old enough to see grandmother on video and understand what she's talking about, which is a fairly early age, right? Let's say 11, 12, 13.
Yes.
Now, they're going to experience boys or girls, right?
Yes.
They're going to experience peer pressure.
Yes.
We all do, right? They're going to experience certain things. Now, as they go through this, which they should, because that's life. That's what life is going to give them.
Absolutely.
Right? We can't avoid these things.
Nope.
Human nature, right?
Yeah.
So as they grow up and as they get their challenges, what are some things you want them to stay rooted in? No matter what, just stay rooted in these three things. If it's love yourself, whatever it is that you think that helped you as you discovered yourself, what are three things you would say you are rooted in and you're not going to change no matter what, and that's going to help you keep your peace and joy?
I would say the main thing is to love yourself. The second thing is self-respect. Figure out what you are willing to accept and what you are not willing to accept. And the range is above and beyond. Your low point and your high point. I would suggest you determine what is not acceptable first and stick to it. Whatever it is. My bottom line is keep your hands to yourself. And that's a major no. So, your bottom line, self-respect, and I would say, what's the third thing? I know it's something I'm reaching for it.
Well, you mean the fourth thing, because you say love yourself, self-respect, and keep your hands to yourself.
Well, that's my bottom line.
That's the bottom line. Okay, so that everything is bottom line, everybody.
Keep your hands to yourself. But I would say the third thing is principles. You know? And I'm gonna give you a good example. And that falls back to what you're willing to accept, you know? A good example is, you know, you gotta have principles, you know. You're not gonna accept someone that's knowingly a thief. But that's my principle. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have principles. So figure out what's important to you. You know? You don't want to be a well-educated woman or man and you settle for someone that don't have, they don't have to be college educated, because there's some good people out there that's not college educated, but they have principles and they have goals, you know. They can start out on the back of the garbage truck, but their goal is to be the driver of the garbage truck. That's the difference.
So you're saying when you create your bubble, anybody around your space should have principles they create, no matter friends, family, or loved ones.
That's
because
right.
they're close.
That's right.
Okay.
100%. If you meet someone and they're a good person, and say it's just an example, you know, they got a job and they're okay with that job, but the first thing I'm gonna say is, okay, so is this your end game? You know, it's your plan to work at this level for the next 25 years or the next 20 years? What's your end game? You know, are you trying to move up, or are you okay with just being the janitor?
So you saying somebody should always be creating, always, because a creative mind won't allow you to sit still.
That's right. Are you trying to upgrade, or you want me to upgrade you? I'm not trying to upgrade you. Let's upgrade together.
And now, hold on now. You're talking friends, family, and loved ones. That's a good approach, what you're talking about. Because that's the relationships.
Yeah, relationships.
Right? So if someone that in our space, no matter what capacity, because it feeds directly on your energy or not.
That's
It either says, how should I say, energizes you, or energy is taken away from you.
Exactly.
Right? So if it's somebody that's just not creative or trying to do something else, they have to get their energy from somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a fact, right?
They'll get it from you.
And then there we go. So and man, you know, one of the things that you talked about is kind of profound, and kind of all the writings and what people hear on Constructive Talks and stuff is create your own principles.
Yeah, you have to, because that's the standard. The standard is creating your own principles. What are you willing to accept? Okay, so it's okay if you want to go out and buy a 1955 Mustang with salt damage, water damage, and fix it up. Because you know, once you fix it up, excuse me, it's gonna be worth $100,000. You know, or Nova, Chevy Nova, whatever. But when you're talking about relationships and you want a fixer-upper, once you get that fixer-upper fixed up, then they gonna think they better or shinier, and they looking for a new penny, you know? So I'm not saying that all fixer-uppers not good, but the majority of them are not. Because once you fix them up, get them to go to the dentist and get their teeth fixed, say they gonna be looking for a shiny new penny. Because you done fixed them up. You done bought them up. You done bought them off the back of the garbage truck and put them in the driver's seat. And now they moving on to something better and bigger and more shinier.
So this experience, as we're talking, it seems that it has helped you understand that you're your best resource.
That's right.
Because there's been so many untrusting things that have happened. You said, you know what? I'm not going to let myself down.
Nope. Never
Right?
again.
So everybody understand what she's talking about. She's talking about any and everybody in your space. It doesn't matter if it's a intimate relationship or a friendly relationship or association relationship. Sometimes people are looking for someone that puts all their energy into a fixer up.
A crutch.
So that's being said, is just have someone or consider having folks in your space doing the same thing that you're doing, being creative, hardworking, have principles.
Have dreams.
There you go. Have dreams that they want to put their skin in the game in and not have it somebody else do it for them.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. So, man, so your grandchildren will get some good stories, right? They're like, hey, grandma tells it, right? Some good stuff. Okay. So, let's say this. Everybody's listening. Everybody's, they definitely should get something out of it. What is some things that, since you're discovering yourself, or some next things you want to do with yourself to make, like you said, write a book?
Yeah.
Right? What are some things that you're looking at accomplishing without a timeline, but you would like to get them done? Give us a few things.
Other than writing a book, I do have a lot of ideas on writing a book. But, that's another story, another time. Let's see. I want to be myself.
Okay.
I want to be my own boss. I want to be my own person. I want to start at the bottom and work my way up, basically within a fresh start.
So you don't mind learning new stuff?
No.
You don't mind learning?
No.
That's the good creative mind.
No. But I do want to, one of my main interests is photography.
Okay.
I want to capture real life in the moment, whether it's at a rally or a protest or hurricane damage, whatever it is.
That's community. You want community stuff. That's good.
I want to capture real life, in the moment. And I want to be excited about it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
because communities are passionate, especially when they want to be treated fairly and to get that opportunity and not be closed off from the rest of the world and seen as a scar.
Yeah.
Right? A scar in the footprint.
Yeah. I don't want to be an activist. I don't want attention. I never wanted attention. This is kind of hard for me because, like I said, I never wanted attention. I don't want attention. I might want to be rich, but I don't never want to be famous.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I don't want that. I don't want to be in the public eye. You know, I want to...
I mean, you didn't want to be in the public eye.
No, I didn't want to. This is forced on me. But, you know, it's like, I want to make a difference. You know, one of my dreams is I always thought about having something for maybe even veterans, you know, somewhere for them to stay, you know. My dad was a veteran. He was a Vietnam veteran, and we all know how they got treated when they came home. And there's a lot of them still out there suffering from mental illness, drugs. I mean, and that's something they got in Vietnam. It wasn't something that they got at home. It started there, you know. Or even the homeless. You know, I always said, you know, hey, if I ran into a whole bunch of money, I'm going to build a bunch of tiny houses, you know, and can't anybody stay there. You know, it's got to be, you know, something for homeless or homeless families, but it's got to be a standard. You know, you got to take drug tests or blow in a breathalyzer before you come in. And you got to be trying to take classes or build yourself up.
Well, that's what you talked about earlier. You should want to self-improve. You should want to be better.
Yeah, you got to want to be better, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many free classes out here for people. That's why, you know, when I go to the store right up the street from my house, you know, I go to the store and somebody's like, can you give me some money and give me something to eat? I ain't got no cash, but I got my card. I can buy you something to eat out the store. And if they grateful, they accept that. But if they not, they just looking for a free handout. You know, I ain't got no cash, but I got my card. I can go buy you something to eat. And I will. I'll buy you some chicken or a sandwich. But...
So let me ask you this. So what message would you give the young ladies out there today? Because a young lady is a young lady is a young lady, no matter the color, the race,
That's
or
right.
where they're from. They are a young lady. What message would, and we'll just say this message one. We'll try to always give the young ladies and young men a message, okay? Because women should give men messages as well.
I mean, that go back to the to what I said earlier. Self-respect. I mean, you gotta respect yourself. You know, it's this funny thing going around on social media about $40. I don't get it. You know, if that's what you feel like you worth, $40, then
They need to talk to somebody that's help them understand their value.
they need to understand their value and their worth. You're worth more than that. You know, you're worth more than a bottle and a blunt. I mean, as women, I mean, we are the bearers of the earth. You know what I'm saying? We create humanity. And if you don't have enough respect for yourself and your own body, then, and I don't want to offend no one, it's just me being 51, looking out at this generation and these women, you know, young women, put it that way. You allow these young men to abuse you, disrespect you, and you don't have to, because they actually need you more than you need them, because you can get a job and you can pay your own bills.
So what would you say to the young men out there to inspire them to be men, to be respectful, to uplift the women?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them?
I would say the same thing I tell my sons. How would you feel if a man treated me like you treat women? I'm not pointing nobody out, but all I would say is, How would you feel if someone treated your mother the way you treat women?
Okay. So what would you say to men out there, and men and women, well, young ladies and young men, about education and staying focused to keep that arch, if not keep a creative mind to create a creative mind, because you have to love yourself first, right?
You definitely have to love yourself.
So what advice would you give them based on your experience and what you've observed in your 51 years?
You will have to, like I said, passion. You have to find your passion. I mean, you can go to school to be a nurse, but if you don't have passion, you're going to be a horrible nurse. I mean, period. So find what you're passionate at and study that. Whether it's art, photography, computers, even cell phones, coding, whatever it is. Find what you love. Because if you're going to school and spending all that money for something that you don't love, then you're really wasting your time. And you're wasting money. You're just going to build up a whole lot of student loans, or you're going to waste your parents' money going to school for something you don't love.
Okay. All right. On that note, I know I've taken a lot of your day, everybody. Hey, that's what Constructive Talks do. We sit and have a conversation and time flies.
Yeah.
So what is your closing message to your grandchildren?
My closing message to my grandchildren would be, I wouldn't even say my grandchildren, because they already know how I feel. I would say my great-grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren, is that you come from generations and generations of strong African Americans, proud African Americans. And I expect you to learn and love and above all else, do something important with your life. Leave a foundation for future generations. I'm trying. I ain't got there yet, but I'm trying. So I'm going to leave something for my future generations, and I expect y'all to do the same thing. And remember, no matter what, you can overcome anything. Don't care what it is, you can overcome it. And trust your family and people that love you, because ain't nothing more important than family. Not to me, and not from the family that I came from, and the family that you come from.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Constructive Talks. We look forward. Hey, me and Miss Adams are going to meet plenty of times. This is just the first couple. You're going to get to know her personally. In reference to how she's talking, you won't know how she cook unless she show you.
No,
But I'm saying you're gonna know her, and because she's inspirational. She is a wonderful lady, grandmother, cousin, and all these other things to folks that share her space. So keep tuning in. Hit that like, subscribe, and share, and hit that notification bell so you can look at the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.